I did the math, man. I was really trying for us to get to 100 episodes by the end of the year, but apparently we're going to run out of time.
We are not
So,
going to make it.
yeah, we're not going to. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
doesn't the calendar doesn't work
We've
that
got
way,
one more.
but we
We've
got
got one
close.
more for the year, and then we're done for the year, and then we'll be
Yep.
back. Mark's going to be back hosting, I think, July or January 5th.
5th.
Yeah,
Yep.
he'll do the first one of the year, and then we'll both be back.
We'll
by
do
then.
next week. We'll do next. We got to actually. I'm excited about today's topic. To next week's topic. Pardon me. Episode 95 will be really, really cool, actually. So I'm not going to give you much more than that. Hello, Mark. Thanks so much. Yeah, and episode 94. Jason constantly in our lives has to bear with me because I'm going to go like 30,000 foot view on a lot of this stuff, and then he's going to steer our ship back into focusing about fundraising. But it doesn't make me a savant or anything like that. I think I'm thinking big about stuff like this. We constantly talk about how fortunate we are to have built something. We're only going to give a little bit of experience, and then there's going to be some practical application to everyone's lives and their organizations, of course. But we constantly talk about removing friction, and what that means is making it easy. And we're always like, high-fiving, going, you know what, man, we sleep really well at night because we try to make it as easy as possible for folks to work with us. And that was kind of the impetus for this webinar and this conversation. This webinar is going to go, and this conversation is going to go as long as you all want it to, as long as we can have some interaction, because we like to, have a conversation. We want some feedback from you all, and hopefully it's thought-provoking. At the end of the day, though, like I said, we try and go out of our way to make it as easy as possible for folks to work with us. And we implore you to do the same when it comes to donors giving. And what I also mean by that, I was thinking about that this morning when I was talking to Jay, was like, make it easy for folks to say yes, and big picture. I say this a lot. We've been saying this a lot for a while now. And so forgive me if I'm repeating myself, but donors are consumers at the end of the day. Are they a certain demographic of consumers? For sure. Folks with capacity are the top 1%, for instance. But at the end of the day, if we just strip it down for what it is, donors are consumers, and consumers like convenience. They don't like friction. They don't like messing with their phones and having a bunch of hurdles to jump through to buy something, to acquire something, to give. And so that was the impetus for this discussion. Are you going out of your way? Are you making it as easy as possible for donors to find you, to give, and then to say yes? And I feel like there's a nice marriage between how we've tried to operate our company, or not how we've tried, how we do operate our company, and how we've built things. Just like transparency is a huge one, Jay. I mean, we talk about this all the time. We are not like, hey, we're not going to hide items and ideas behind a curtain or a veil or some password protected page, or you got to opt in to do this and things like that. Just give it away and make it super easy.
This kind of came about. We were talking with somebody else in our space that's
oh, that's right. Yeah. True story.
They were asking us, to talk to us, and we're very open to help anybody that wants to be in this, because we just want good players to be in this space. And what I'm specifically talking about, consignment trips and things.
We were talking to a competitor, I guess, is what you could call
and
you want, but we were trying to help them.
But we just, because we want good people to be in the business, and they've got a good foundation, and I think they'll have some success. And what we were talking is, they were taking us through their process, and it just was not very easy. And what I mean easy, it wasn't super difficult, but they wanted you to do a lot of stuff to do business with them.
I call it paralysis by analysis.
Well, I don't even know if it's paralysis by analysis, though. Just not pushing back, just is a general deal.
No, totally.
It's just what you were saying before. Where's the choke points? Where's the friction? What do I have to do? Do I have to sign this, do that? Qualify? Do I have to sit there and talk to somebody and get all this? And I that's kind of where this came back, and I have some examples I wanted to give that came up, and one of them just happened literally. I was told about it last night, and it was a timeline. are we setting ourselves, are we there to, to receive donations? Are we stopping people from giving to us?
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of comes up a lot.
Agreed.
You know, if you've had a timeline and you're on there and all of a sudden and things are really rolling, everybody, and all of a sudden somebody runs up and goes, "Hey, we got to get you off stage. We got to move on. We got a speaker coming on. We got a timeline."
It didn't fit in this tiny little myopic box.
Yeah, and I'm
Sorry.
saying, well, we're selling some, we're raising, we just raised $25,000, and we're still doing that. And so, well, you need to speed it up. It's like, whoa, I mean,
Yeah.
so that's a simplified. I'll give you a couple of examples real quick. This was me, not asking, it's not really a friction point, but just not being open and available to take that gift whenever, a guy says, well, I'd give 50 if you'd ask me.
Yeah.
Getting too tied up with the software, sponsorship packets. I've seen where somebody goes, well, we just can't do that. And you had somebody that had a check for $10,000 they wanted to give them. This is no joke. They had it. They said, I've got a $10,000 check, and this is what I want to do with it. And they're like, well, I just don't think we can do that.
You're like, oh.
And whatever he was asking, I don't remember the specifics, but it was pretty simple. It was kind of like, hey, I'd like to, whenever this happens, this is when I'd like to be recognized. He kind of wanted to have a little shine on it, and he wanted to challenge the room or something, and he wanted to do it. Yeah. I just don't think we could do that. Like, why not?
That sounds like something that we see often too, that I didn't think about until you just brought it up. It was like personalities kind of get in the way.
Well, but it was more than that, because the guidelines that they had set, everything that they had put together in this event, they had a process.
Yeah.
And the person who had put this process together worked really hard on it.
Yeah.
Oh, and sure. I want to, they
so there was an attachment. There was an attachment.
They worked on this stuff. Yeah. And so I think, from the perspective of, well, if we bend the process here, it's going to go someplace else. And there are, obviously, you need to have some process and guidelines in place for some things. Mm-hmm. But, I know a guy, I wasn't doing it. I was just at the event, and I knew that the president of this organization was going to stand up and he was going to do a challenge. And he had his little speech all riddled out, and he was going to stand up there and he was going to say, I hope you'll join with me and my wife as we pledge $1,000 to this organization, and to see who else would do that with us. He really had worked this over for himself. While he's saying his speech, the guy in the back of the room stands up and says, I'll give $10,000 for the kids. The president stood there, and he kind of said, well, thank you. Now, as I was saying, and he went right back into his speech, because he had this process built, and there was no flex to it, because I don't think you should have been doing the ask, but if he had somebody else do the ask, they'd have said, I got 10,000. Who wants to go with him? Who wants to match Mr. Brown and go with him and say 10,000? And, and I know for a fact that there were probably about 4 or 5 other people that would have done it. So it's one of those things that, friction points. And I've seen other examples, like with forms and, get you to sign up to be a giver and to be a donor, to give a donation.
And a lot of steps.
There's just more steps to it. And, like sponsorships. Well, hey, we've got to get you, hey, you know what? I'll find something for me for 10 grand, for $2,500. Okay, well, I've got to get this back from you. Can you send this to me? Can you do this? Can you do that?
No.
And, and I know that's not everybody. And I'm not picking on anybody that has a process, because I think because I'm a big process guy. And we're a big process
you're talking about something that harkens to, I love this kind of conversation, just because I always, for some reason, and me, Jay, is like, I call it like business 101, but these things have become so applicable in my life, as well. And then we always say that organizations are businesses, just with a different tax designation. So hope everyone realizes that you still have to make payroll, and you have a mission and things that you have customers, that you have to service. But you're talking about something that we've spoken of, you're talking about rigidity. I think being rigid is probably one of the worst character traits in business, in life, frankly. And especially as this world moves so quickly now, and where we're at, and how fast things are moving in the fundraising space, in the business world, in your personal lives, being flexible is a superpower. You know what I mean? Because, and you never know when someone's going to stand up and be in the back of the room, because the emotion struck them so much about the mission,
Mhm.
and they're going to say, I want to give now. Well, they let them give now. You know what I mean? So it's like being flexible and being on your toes, so to speak. Sure, is it difficult for some folks that are so process driven they can't bend? Sure, but once again, imploring folks,
Yeah. Well, I think,
rigidity is a really, really bad trait, especially
well, I think it's good. And I think, and I want to just expand on what you're saying, because what I hear you're saying, because I know you,
mm-hmm.
you're not saying be a wet noodle and just collapse and give away everything.
Yeah, I'm also saying not. Yeah, don't be.
You got to have. You do have to have. There has to be backbone there, but
yeah.
Flexibility versus rigidity is the difference.
I'm talking about exactly, and just an accepting,
being able to flex within range,
yeah,
and do that. But I think there's also having a plan for that. I think organizationally to know, hey, what is our goal here? Our goal here is to do this mission. Mm-hmm. What makes that happen? Fuel, which is cash, donations, and this is how we do it. And to be open to receive those, being an equal opportunity receiver, that you're willing to do that.
I think openness can also, breed creativity. And I mean, sometimes we peel the curtain back more than I think we're going to. Sometimes, like Jason was talking about, and I had forgotten the impetus for this topic was we were literally having a Zoom meeting with a would-be competitor or a consignment company, and they just asked us for our help. Some people would view that as pretty crazy. We don't, for some reason, because as Jason mentioned, we want good players in the space, and we trust certain people, and we think that the tide rises all boats, frankly. Mm-hmm. And it's not beyond us to share ideas. We've seen bad players in the space that have gone out of business and actually made it really, really difficult for us to operate at times.
Everybody else.
Yeah. But that openness, not patting ourselves on the back, but that openness to share ideas, because we know that their clients will win as a result, or like we said, just removing friction points or any spots that don't make it easy for folks to say yes. We constantly say this to nonprofits: share your ideas amongst each other. Some of you are in very, very competitive markets. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of money. We keep saying there's a tremendous amount of money in the system. We're not lying. So there's plenty of abundance out there, and and we want to give people as many opportunities to give as possible. However, back to the point, being open, being coachable, sharing ideas that work with your peers is a really, and being happy for other people's success, other organizations' success, actually empowers your mission and strengthens your role and strengthens your job as well. So imploring folks to buy into that thought process as well. I think it's
well. I want to give another practical example, and I've seen this a lot. And we're you go to an event, somebody's doing some kind of a raffle, golden ticket.
Yeah.
Some of y'all know what that is, and I hope you all do, because it's a great way to raise money. And so, we're selling tickets and we're doing this, and you got people walking around literally with a bag of money and a credit card, something to scan credit cards.
Yeah.
And you're trying to ask people they're asking people for $100. And so you're walking up to somebody, and I'm standing here talking to Trevor. I got a glass of wine in my hand, and I've got my program in the other hand, and I'm sitting there doing. You come up to me, and I'm like, and I'm having a conversation, and it's like I got to stop, set the glass down, reach in my pocket. Do I have a $100 bill? No. Got to pull a credit card out, doing all this stuff. And I'm like, and you see somebody doing that, and you're like, why don't you just don't? He's got a bidder number on the back of your program right there. Can you just take my bidder number?
Making it easy.
And I'm telling you, I can't tell you how many times I've had people say, oh, well, I guess so, but what if they don't pay? Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. If you sell 98 tickets for $100, raise $9,800 or 100 of them, and 2 people don't pay, you still got $9,800. So, you got to just take a little bit with it.
That's also something that can be fixed at check-in.
But doing the other way, just by time, because it takes 5 minutes for every transaction, you don't have enough time to do it.
Yeah.
And I'm saying those are just some things as you're going through your process, and every time you start to do a project, no matter what it is, how can we make it easier for people to give? I think that's just a question that you want to do. Credit card dip jar, great idea.
Cool.
All these different ways. How in the world do we?
Yeah. Ooh, good one. Good idea.
How in the world can we make it easier for people to give? But see, I'm going to say, Jessica, that's awesome. That's awesome. You got an ATM machine, but why do you even need to do that?
Yeah, I
put it
mean,
on a
if
buyer's
you've got
number.
it
You don't know,
dialed,
just
if
give
you
them
got
a
it
number.
dialed a check
You've got them
in,
set. Now, if you don't have a check in and you don't have that done, where it's just people coming, and sometimes that's the way it is.
but we think you
It's
should,
difficult to
but
do it.
we're pretty persistent about you should.
I've
So,
seen where, little cocktail gatherings,
yeah,
everybody gave somebody a number and
yeah.
said, we're gonna have a little fun here in a little bit.
Hmm. Hmm.
You got to have a number.
Hmm.
They knew the name, did all that, took it in there. Well, they wound up giving something away. They had a door prize. Hey, we've got a big door prize. Everybody hold up your numbers. That's what it's here for. And then they also raised money.
Hmm. Hmm. Mr. West, the country club effect starts to happen when you let people pay with their bid number. Every time you make them pull out their wallet, they start becoming more aware how much they're spending. That's an interesting point.
That's a good point, yeah.
Another point that we were thinking about, or that was top of mind before we hopped on was, gosh, I mean, and I'm not trying to be negative or speak poorly about organizations that do this, but if you don't have your check-in dialed, that's a nightmare. Make sure your check-in is dialed.
Yeah.
Make sure that your software is dialed. Of course, are there going to be mishaps? There's a human element involved a lot of times, for sure, but have firewalls in place that will mitigate those nightmares from happening. Little hiccups happen, be flexible. Cool. Dial checkout. I mean, I like we've talked about this before, where we go to events where it's like, are they here to raise money? Because that was like super difficult. And the person I was asking questions couldn't help me. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. And that stops people. People throw their hands up in the air and go, this is way harder than it should be. You know what I mean? This is way more difficult to give than it should be.
Well, I'm going to give you an example. I'm going to give you guys a great example. Who here has a Chick-fil-A or goes to Chick-fil-A? You can just do a little raise of hand. Everybody know what I'm talking about when I talk about Chick-fil-A?
I know of them, yes.
No hands are going up. Y'all are all fibbing because I know that everybody.
I've actually never been to one.
Okay, we got one honest person.
But I'm on the West Coast.
So,
they're geniuses.
their marketing is really good, but here's what they do. The ones here where I live, they have people standing out in the drive-through. Now they have a regular drive-through where you could drive up, go to the window, order just like you would at any other drive-through. But they have people lined up, usually 2 and 3 in the line, and they'll go every other car, and they're just saying, "How may I help you? Are you paying with cash or cash or card?" If you're doing card, they take the process right then. If you're
get the buying
cash,
process started.
And I have a name with this. It's Jason.
Yeah.
Those cars almost don't stop going because they've taken all the friction. They've taken as much friction out as possible. The only thing that they can't do is drive the car for you.
Yeah.
It's assembly line down, just because by the time you're in the back, there's got people inside filling the bag, making it happen. My point to that is they've just removed. They're the #1 selling franchise on the planet. They sell more and they only work 6 days a week. They sell more sandwiches and food in 6 days a week than all other franchises selling 7.
Process
per store. It's a per store.
That's the In-N-Out. That's the In-N-Out model.
The biggest, but I'm saying
on the West Coast, they do that. The In-N-Out hamburger does that on the West Coast.
Yeah.
I've seen them do that.
And
I feel bad for them because they're out there when it's raining and stuff. But
well, the places I've got, they remodeled. They built tops. They built covered drive-throughs.
Yeah,
and they've got fans for the summertime that blow cool air. They've got these
cool. That's smart.
For the people that are standing out there. But my point is, they are. It doesn't matter because you pull up there and you think there's no way I'm going to wait in that line. You wait less than that line than the store across the street.
I love it. I think it's
5 cars in line.
You never know where these conversations are going to go. B,
you never thought.
There's just a beautiful marriage between what good businesses do. It's never been a bad time to build a good business, and we're always trying to say that we're trying to just coach people up to think. Once again, I'm operating a business. I have customers. I have donors. I have supporters. I have volunteers. There's many layers. We get that. We have a lot of layers in our company, but making it easy for folks to work with us has been a blessing. And that's what we're saying. That's a macro business 101 tool that can be applied to any organization or any event. And the tools are out there. That's the cool part. They're out there for, to help.
I want to just give a shout out to Becky sharing this idea. They do the events with bid numbers. They put a little, give people a wristband.
Yep.
Like smart. A little bracelet, and the table number.
Yep.
And it's got the table number and the bidder number on it. I think that's such a cool idea because
for sure,
especially, and it doesn't matter. It could be a black tie affair because you go there, the ladies got their dresses on, they got their glass of wine, maybe they're holding they don't have room to hold all this stuff because they don't have
Mhm.
pockets.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I always use the thing about the bid number, because then what's she doing? She's looking around for her husband. Where's he at? He's standing over there talking to somebody
Great
else.
idea,
I'm
Becky.
sorry.
Yeah.
It's automatic. No, well, I'm sorry. Oh, I just use your bidder number. She goes, oh yeah, here it is. So
Yep.
I'm a bracelet. I just
Yep.
think that's a great idea. I wanted to give you
Super
a shout
good
out.
idea.
Thanks, Becky.
Yeah, tune into the podcast too, everybody. Becky and Jason and I just recorded a really cool podcast that we know you'll get a lot of value out of. That I'll be dropping in the next couple of weeks. Hey, nonprofits raise more money. I'm not trying to plug the podcast, just really telling you where to find it. Oh yeah, cool, good stuff. That's really good feedback.
That's cool.
Yeah, different color tags.
Exclusivity sells like crazy.
I love that idea because, and another great point to that is you're advertising for next year. You know the opportunities, the sponsorships, the underwriting, the items, the venue, the menu, the exclusivity. You're advertising. You maybe have someone that was an invitee of a VIP and they want to be a VIP next year. It's advertising for the following year that in that moment. I think it's a really, really great idea. That's awesome. Becky's a fundraising juggernaut.
I think that's brings up, just as you start thinking about like timelines and things like that, make sure that your timeline is set to raise money. We're there to celebrate and raise awareness, but we're also there to raise money. And so make sure that your timeline keeps those things queued up. Don't get caught up in the show time, get caught up in the raise time.
Love that. That's what you're there to do. And Jason has many lovely triumvirates of fundraising and ideas. And one thing that I always come back to is, this is what we've done, this is what we're doing, and this is what we're going to do. And making it all mission focused through and through is something great to remember when it comes to focusing on that. Mark Dunn, Harvest Children's Homes had a question. So I'm new to events. When you get the bid number, do they come up and pay after the event?
Yeah. So when they get the bid number, that's just a check-in. So a real simple thing. If
check-in is great.
That's where you're getting their name, their phone number, their address, get some information. If you've pre-checked, if you're using software, it's all going to have it there. And then
we think that should be step one.
I mean,
think
you're just not
one, brother. When you get there,
I'm going to
have it dialed to where folks, where there's not.
You're getting an event for 2023. Just by the way, we're running our software for $1,000 off. It's $19.95. We're doing it for $9.95 through the month only, through December. And we don't. Y'all have been on here before. We never advertise on this, but I'm doing this one because it's for $9.95 to have software, because we think everybody should have it. And if you think your event's too small, I'm telling you, that $1,000 you'll probably make fivefold back that just by having software.
It's too good and too efficient and too resourceful not to.
And even if you don't use that, use somebody else's software.
But it's too. All the kinks have been worked out, folks. If it was 2019, folks would be more dissident to using it, utilizing it, and there were definitely kinks. It's 2023.
I'd say 2010. It was a lot more.
It was a little different story. Yeah, for sure.
Now,
for sure.
It's just so easy.
It's seamless. But I mean, based on what we've been through with COVID,
which is the point, which is a choke point. I mean, it's a choke point because you've got to think about this. I'm sitting at the table talking to my friends, hanging out, maybe have my deal. If you don't, I have to get up, walk back over
to the silent auction table.
Check my stuff and go walk around, make sure the stuff I'm bidding. If not, I just sit there at the table and just keep clicking. Keep bidding. Never stops.
You can do it while you're in line at the bar. You can do, it just makes it so easy. But once again, the only reason why I thought there was pushback pre-COVID was because folks weren't forced to use their phone for everything. And now with the way smartphones have been ushered in, now it's second nature. And there's no demographic. So it used to be like, the elderly or older folks that are going to be, that are giving and whatnot. Very, very proficient with the smartphones now. You can just tell. Obviously, it's 2023 here in a heartbeat.
You
have volunteers helping. Yeah,
have a stand there with somebody with their own iPhone.
Tech support.
Go, you want to bid on this? Boom.
What's your bidder number?
I just did it. Yeah, I just did it for you.
That's a great idea to have tech support on site like that.
Well, it's not even tech, or just discuss.
But you know what I mean? I'm using that moniker. It could be your own in-house. Someone's like, this person is an IT person. They nailed it. So here they.
Well, you just get a volunteer person. You just get a volunteer that knows how to do it. Yeah, we're talking about it. and they're standing there and they're going, put a sash on them that says, I can help you bid. I'm here to help. And
Boom.
they go up there and somebody says, oh yeah, I want to bid on this. Absolutely, I can do that. Here you go.
Really good stuff. Really good stuff.
Yeah, I think all those things are, we're kind of going all over the place. But what I think the point of this is, look at your process, everything that you're doing, and saying, where can we make it easier? Where can we make it easier for people to donate to us? Where can we make it easier for them to be part of our organization? Where can we
sponsor, underwrite, giving them real precise options. Like I said, we think paralysis by analysis, when there's just too many things thrown at people. Give them an understanding who you're talking to and what they've done in the past and what they might be interested in moving forward based on the fact that you built a relationship with them, things like that. The whole, like, don't put a square peg with a round hole type thing, So those are all nuanced, pieces of this, but once again, all leading to just efficient giving, efficiency, and saying yes. That's what we want, right? So
I'll give you one. Your website giving. Everybody has somebody's got a deal to take a donation. If it takes more than 3 clicks,
not happening,
to be able to give you money,
yeah,
you're probably losing out on about a third. Because every time somebody has to click to a new screen,
new page, new checkout page,
guess what you have to do?
Yep.
You're going to lose about a third of the people because they're going to go, hey, I'll just come back and do this later. I'll just, it's just not, screw it. I'm out of here.
Yep.
It's just an interesting statistic. We've done a lot of studies on that stuff. And the more people have to click, the less they do. It's just, so
yeah, 100%.
I just encourage you to go through your system, when I say everything in from, general giving, daily donations, weekly, monthly, whatever it is that you're doing, and just spend some time on it and just look at it and go, how can we make this easier? Can we make it easier? You may look at it and go, wow, we've got a pretty efficient program going on. And that's great. And I know a lot of you do. And most everybody has some, a lot of stuff that's pretty fluid, but somewhere along the way, you're going to find it. We find it all the time.
It can always be improved.
We think, wow, we've got a pretty good deal. We're pretty efficient. And then we, stub our toe on something and go, oh, well, we missed that one. Okay, let's figure out how to make it easy.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's just a great thing. I used to have a rule, a lot of English, growing up, school, college, English major, and then started really getting really dialed and really, really serious about email communication for some reason. In the early 2010s and all the way until now, I kind of developed my own system. And Jason knows like a little bit about it and stuff like that. But
I do. And if anybody here's had any emails with Trevor, you probably know. You may not realize what he's doing, but he's really good at it.
But so one of my rules was do it again half as long. And that's another big picture thing where it's just like, hey, can you get this message across with, instead of 250 words, 125 words? Can you just get the message across? Because I know that people, okay, Jay, we haven't even said this yet. Attention spans.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you said about 3 clicks, people's attention spans, God love them, they're really short these days because of the smartphones, because of the speed.
Well, they call it the TikTok syndrome.
For sure. I totally get it. And the TikTokification, for sure. And it's just very short-lived. And I understand that for myself because I've had an attention issue my entire life, but it's worse now as a society. And I'm not saying to get stuck on that. I'm just saying just accept it, right? Let's just accept that that's the case. That's what's happening. And you're vying for people's attention because, their attention equates into dollars for your organization. So remember that, if you're really long-winded, or if the letter is, 500 words, but you could have gotten the message across with a video and 100 words, or 2 videos and no words, you know what I mean? Just based on how people respond to those things, that's reality. And just because it's worked in the past or always worked doesn't mean that it will forever, and that it is even right now. So we're really vying. I can't believe it took us that long to get, over a half hour to get to attention. But I guess you could kind of figure that's part of what we were talking about, but super, super important just to be aware of it. At the end of the day, when you're raising money, you're still marketing. As a result. That's by default. That's by default. You
Here's
don't get
something.
a choice. So
If you're not really sure of what, how you compare, I'm going to give you, here's a little homework for you.
yeah, love it.
Everybody loves homework.
Okay.
Go to two or three other nonprofits, whether they're in your area, around, whatever, and see how easy it is or difficult it is to donate money to them.
To give. Yeah.
And then
I think
compare
it's
that
great.
to your own process and
Yeah.
go, wow, they're one click away and you're donating money to them. They made it really
Hmm.
simple.
Hmm.
And this is what I heard somebody one time say. They go, well, I said, why are you asking for all this information?
Mm.
Well, we need to have it because we're trying to keep records and doing it. But I said, but let me ask you this: if you got double the donations with half as much information, would that be more valuable or less valuable? They go, well, that'd be more valuable. I
Well, of
said, then
course.
don't ask. You don't need their blood type.
Yeah, you need
You
name,
don't need to
telephone number,
know
email.
you don't need to know, all this stuff. I said,
Yeah.
yeah, basically, an email and a credit card number is
Keep
what
it
you want to get.
simple. Keep
Yeah.
it simple. Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah. Yeah.
and it's because sometimes when you're sitting there, you're going, well, I guess I never really thought about that because it doesn't. I mean, we put this process out there and you go, well, of course, that's the information we want. We want to know, what their blood type is.
Yeah.
And they don't even know what their blood type is. So they're like, well, I'm
Yeah.
not going to get all that to them. I'm just going to go. I just wanted to give you $50
Yeah, totally.
because I like the mission.
Yep. Yep.
And
I love that. It's
I
okay to
think-
know why. It's okay to
Yeah.
understand why. Hey, why are you like a whole nother box about like why are you giving and stuff like that? That should be pretty obvious. I'm a
but it-
bigger
but it should
believer
be
in pick up the
but
phone.
It should be optional. Make all
Yeah.
that stuff optional. Just where,
For sure. Yeah.
I think
How'd you
there's-
hear about us? It's like
Yeah.
the internet. So
I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like, okay.
but I
it's
think
like-
those things are a great. I think at the same time, even though it's
Well, you're asking them, but you already know the answer because they clicked on your site. So if you got any analytics at all, you can figure out where they came from.
Yeah.
I mean, there's all analytics are there. So why are you even asking that?
Someone gives and you don't know why. I think it's a great opportunity getting a little bit off the beaten path. Great opportunity to pick up the phone and make a phone call and say thank you and
Yeah.
build a relationship.
Yeah.
That's great.
Well, any questions? I mean, we're kind of
Yeah.
all over the place today, and I hope you guys are going to, are able to get something out of this. If nothing, just to look at your process and go, how can we
Yeah.
make it easy for people?
I
to
just
give
wanted it to
this?
be thought provoking. I just
Yeah,
wanted it to be
it's-
thought provoking, and don't feel like oh my gosh, the ship's gonna sail if you remove a button from the website, or if you know what I mean, or if you take the deep dive and use software and make it really easy.
Or some of you
people to
know
manage
that
your
it's
event,
difficult, and you're like, I just don't even want to try to tackle that mess.
Yeah.
And I get it because it
Yeah.
is hard. We're implementing some software on our side, and
Yeah.
Trevor and I were having this talk yesterday, and we were
We had
like,
a little Mayday
man,
call
this
yesterday.
timeline is just getting a little aggressive. We got stuff. This is the end of the year. We're both leaving town on vacation over the holidays, and we got this, and then we got in the meeting, and it was kind of like we got done, and we were like, oh yeah, we can get this done. That's not
For
gonna be-
sure.
But
Yeah.
it's
Many
but
hands
it's the
make light
unknown,
work.
yeah. Everybody has that stuff, and the reason that we're doing this, the whole purpose of the software that we're putting together and doing it is to remove friction points, to make it
For
easier.
sure.
For our donors, for your donors process to come in to do the trip redemption and things, for that to be simpler. We're
Yeah.
trying to make it as easy as possible for people to be able to go ahead and book their trips and experiences to do that. And we're constantly working on that because
Trying to
one,
improve that. Yeah.
we don't want it to be frustrating for them because we know from experiences, once they get a little frustration, it amplifies, it becomes exponential after that. And we don't want that. We want them to have a wonderful time and a wonderful experience. And so that's our,
The world got to a place where
that's our
people can buy
strategic, that's our strategy is for that to be a
yes,
wonderful experience.
for
and then
sure.
tactically,
Yeah, just it could be ease of communication, and things of that nature. And once again, not patting us on the back, but we just get this comment so often. It's, oh my gosh, that was so easy. It's like we don't have a bunch of contracts for folks to sign to work with us, and
Yeah.
we are always like, just put it all out there on the website. If we got something, put it on the website. Let folks see it. And it's worked out great for us, so we had to share it. You know what I mean? That was the idea. It
and
was just
some
be
people,
thought-provoking
they get
today.
caught up in that and they think it's some kind of I don't know. Maybe they're thinking that if I don't know. I
Like a
don't know.
mystery. Yeah. Well, I mean, listen,
Yeah,
there are no
it's almost
mysteries.
like, well, I want you to call me. It's a way to get them to make contact. I'm like,
Yeah. Nah.
Well, if they
Not a
see
bad
it, they
idea.
want
All
to
right.
do it because I don't want them wasting my time because we're pretty busy. And so if somebody's just kicking tires, I mean, obviously we answer questions anytime we need to, or somebody
Mhm.
has a question, we want to help or about our stuff or just about fundraising in general. Well, that's what we do. But, if somebody's just kicking tires and just not really going to do anything anyway, then yeah, we got other stuff to do too. So we want to help filter that out as much as we can, which is,
Um, I had something, I had an idea or a thought, maybe just once again to leave folks with. But if there's any questions, if there's any challenges that you're facing as far as efficiency at your event during any kind of giving strategy or season or what have you, let us know while we got you on. If folks are watching this as a recording, leave a comment or a question on our YouTube page. That'd be awesome. But think about it like a sales process. You know what I mean? When it comes to cultivating relationships and supporters and donors and just make, at the end of the day, not trying to make it salesy, but it's a sales process. Just make it easy for folks to say yes. That's the idea. Cost, small nonprofit that causes a spiral for discussion and then nothing ever gets resolved in the process. Just get a question or a comment. Our biggest hurdle is cost. Cost to donate, dollars and
okay.
cents. Kind of embellish a little bit, Jessica, if you don't
I can,
mind.
well, let me take a stab at this one because I think
Yeah.
I know where she's going.
Mm-hmm.
It's what I call if it ain't free, it ain't for me syndrome. And
Like a
it's
shopper
probably,
thing.
Jessica, I know that
Mm-hmm.
it's everybody goes, well, can't we get it donated? Because
Mm-hmm.
there'll be somebody on the board or somebody on the committee. Well, I can't we get that donated?
Mm.
And those are the same people that never make a phone call, don't ever go and solicit donations, and they don't do any of that stuff because they don't know it's you're trying to go ask somebody. I'll use the software, okay? Well, golly,
For
that's
sure.
it's 995. Our deal's 995 to use it for a year, unlimited events. I slid that little seat, just put that little
Yep.
tag in there.
I caught that.
Uh, and but I'm going to tell you how you can overcome that, Jessica. So I've been around doing this for a long time. Had committees say, "Well, I think we just ought to get that." Yeah, it's just we just don't think we could spend the money. We know for a fact, statistically, 30% when you put software in your event, you raise 30% more money. So if you raised $100,000, you're going to raise $130,000. That's 30% more. And your cost, if you look at that for $1,000 investment, you made 29 grand. Okay, those numbers are all day long. If you go to the business world and you go to a business owner and you say, if you can spend $1,000, you'll make 30% more, they will do it in a heartbeat. It's not even a trigger point. But because we've got these committees and board members who think everything ought to be for free,
Because
and
you're a
then
nonprofit. Yeah.
because they're a nonprofit. So let me tell you how you get around that. So you have something that you want to do, and this you can go rogue if you want to. I think this is the way that it usually happens. Is you bring this up for the group and you say, "Hey, everybody, I really want to use this software. I think this is going to be a really good deal for us. I got a really special deal on it." The second thing that I did is I went and I got Trevor Nelson, who said he loves our organization. You guys know it, and I went and got him and I talked to him about it. He'd be willing to underwrite it.
Boom. Stop right
Then
there.
you don't have an issue because it goes from being a cost to a money raiser. And we actually know nonprofits that don't if they don't do it dollar for dollar. They make money on a sponsorship. So if it's
2
going
to
to cost
1 up to 4
two
to 1.
thousand, $5,000, they're going to raise it anywhere from 50 to 100%
Yep.
and still offer the sponsorship, and they sell them all day long because the value, what they're selling is the value proposition, not covering cost. The value is that all of a sudden Trevor gets to put his company out in front of everyone to say he's the technology sponsor, and
Yep.
he gets that value. And we want to thank our sponsors. Hey, thanks
Yep.
big to Trevor,
Yep.
for being our technology sponsor.
Yep. And
And
yeah,
that's the way that you can really get past that, a lot of it, because I know that struggle.
yep.
And there's some
It's
people
real.
you're not going to. I mean, you got to meet people where they're at, and you're not going to change them. And until you beat your head against a wall, and it's just a go nowhere process.
But you show up with those dollars, those committed dollars from the underwriter, and obviously they can't say no at that point, right?
And well,
You
and,
know,
and here's what happens if you do say, look, I've got somebody who's willing to underwrite this. That changes everything. But then they're like, well, why wouldn't they just go ahead and do the money anyway? Because they see the value and they want
yeah,
exponential return on their
yep.
investment.
And the pitch to that
So
underwriter is you're enabling us to raise more money.
Yeah.
right? That's the idea.
Yeah.
You're enabling us. This is a gift, and you're enabling us to raise more money and giving us the agency to do so. And that's huge. That's a huge pitch.
I don't know if that, I hope that's helpful, Jessica, but that's what I've seen
Yeah.
be the best way for people to get past that mindset, because then they see it and they go, and you take the results back and they go, oh,
Cool.
wow, holy cow, you're right. That was really good. And it starts changing mindset, but it's time, and you got to be innovative about how you do it, because I get it. You're going to have people who absolutely think, it's like this, somebody calls up and they go, hi, Trevor, my name's Jason. I'm with ABC Charity and we're a 501c3. Well, no kidding.
Yep. You
no
sure
kidding.
Are. Hey, Jessica, where are you located? If you don't mind me asking, are you planning an event for spring of 23? Just curious, if you don't mind. Because what I was going to say is, with these recordings, our media coordinator sends out a Calendly link. And if you're planning, even if you're not planning a spring event, click the Calendly link and get 20 or 30 minutes with Jason to go coach you up on some of these ideas and these underwriting opportunities. Or I'm happy to do it too. Jason's better at it than I am, quite frankly. I understand my strengths. I learn more from Jason than from anybody and the rest of our team, frankly. But click that Calendly link and sign up for a coaching session. It doesn't cost you anything. That goes to anyone, as a matter of fact. So we put those links out. I have things I'm good at, but not as good as Jason at that. But yeah, there you go. Yeah. Oh, cool, Patty. Right on. Well, Patty, perfect. Yeah, if you want to talk about it, let's do a coaching session.
Yeah, anybody that wants to do that, and I can tell you, we're not here going to try to sell you a bunch of stuff.
It's not a pitch. We're not charging you for the time.
Those of you, that anybody can vouch that there is no pressure from us at all, and so I don't want you to.
We just want to help
something, because that's not the deal. Because we get it. I mean,
but you're gonna walk with some encouragement and some information that could really help. That's the idea. So we've also got some stuff. We've done some things on golf tournaments. It's really good stuff. Happy to help, Patty. And for anyone for that matter, but Jessica has mentioned, if you're running into an issue with committee, board, any of the above, a leader at the organization, we've got plenty of ammunition to help you, right? And in a good way, in a productive way. So. Yeah, I mean, if you want to get good at it, you got to do it often, Mark. That's my opinion about running. If you want to get good at it, it's tough. Otherwise, you'd see a bunch of people out there doing it. That's my opinion about running. But
I don't think that's what he was going for, bro.
We have plenty of ideas about runs, Mark. We worked with
Mark doesn't know this.
Don't say.
Mark, Trevor is a former professional endurance athlete. He is absolutely. I mean, so the guy runs like 100-mile or used to run 100-mile races. So when I say this, that's why he's saying that.
But Mark, we have plenty of ideas. Happy to do a coaching session with you about it, and really cool ways to, the software is a great way to handle ticketing, signups, things of that nature. Other opportunities, other giving opportunities, the marketing piece, things like that. We have a bunch of different ideas. And we think it's a great way it's just another great way to raise money that's not necessarily, gala or event or golf tournament based. Those things are wonderful. It's just another value add, right? Or it's just another addition to your overall fundraising calendar. We have plenty of ideas, seen plenty of success stories.
Some of them might even be good. Maybe.
Yeah, and we've actually worked with one of our favorite organizations to work with Back on My Feet, which is all running based now at this point. So really, really cool. They're a cool organization. Check them out as well. Really, really fun organization to work with, and near and dear to my heart, because they take folks off the street and get them running and get them placing homes and jobs and families and folks that were hit with hard times. So really, really cool organization. Follow them, check them out. Really easy to see what they're doing on LinkedIn and Instagram, by the way.
So any other questions? I mean, we got a drawing to do. We got to draw. We got somebody's going to win one. I got to pull this up right now. I'm getting the
awesome. Any other ideas or questions, or take us up on the Calendly link as mentioned. We also have an in-house expert on fundraising, revenue enhancers, items. A ton of experience. Mark West is on here with us, as a matter of fact, from Team HGA. So we also have members. Maybe if you're not vibing with Jason or I don't know. So we have other folks on our team that are willing to help as well. So happy to do it. Jessica, HGA Bid Online. HGA Bid Online would be our website. You can schedule a demo right there. and really, really awesome. Yeah, to check that out, and happy to help. So, as mentioned, take us up on the opportunity.
Yeah,
If you
we'll
want to have a
send Patty. We'll
conversation.
send the
So,
calendar link, and everybody can jump on there and do it. But I will tell
yep,
you, if you want to talk before the end of the year, you've got next week, and then it's out
yep,
because we're
gotcha.
shutting down for the year. So, I mean, you can try, but I can just tell you, I'm not going to be on there. So you have Trevor and I are going to go away.
Okay. All right. We're in high demand. But yeah, hey, any other last minute questions or comments or anything like that? Great feedback from everybody. I didn't think that we were gonna have 50 minutes of this conversation about making it easy for folks to
Oh,
give, making it
you
easy
can
for
always
folks
find
to say
something.
yes. Yeah,
We
we're
like
good
to
at
talk.
rambling.
That's why we do this.
We're good ramblers.
Yeah.
But make it easy for folks to say yes, remove all friction points. And less is always more, I think, especially with messaging, right? So good stuff. Yeah, thank you, Patty. Happy holidays. We have a winner. We have a winner of an auction item that you can use at your next
We have
event.
a winner.
Yep.
And it is Jessica Bird.
Okay.
Jessica
Okay.
Bird.
Right on,
I had to
Jessica.
draw twice because the first person that came up
Had already won.
no, it was Courtney. So
Oh, okay,
she's
gotcha.
on our
Yeah.
team. So I was like, nope, we can't because we're not getting.
Oh, she's cheating. She's cheating.
Yeah, she's trying to cheat.
She's trying to. Yeah, she's getting in there. Okay.
So
Snake in the grass. There, trying to get in there. Hey,
congratulations! You got a trip.
Right on, Jessica.
In your fundraiser, you got one coming up, so you can use it.
Yep.
To raise more money. And if you guys got anything out of this at all, and share this with other nonprofit professionals if you have a chance. We'd really appreciate it. If you're listen to this, give us a like, subscribe, and it's our passion to do this. We really have a lot of fun with it.
Yep.
Because we get to do what we love doing, and that's helping you guys make the world a better place. So we really appreciate you being here this week. Thank you so much.
Yep. We'll see you all next Thursday for episode 95 for sure. Do us a favor. Yeah, do us a favor. It's going to be a really cool topic. Do us a favor. Check out Hey Nonprofits.
Trevor might give some more stuff away. I don't know. It could happen. It's Christmas.
I'm good at that. He
starts giving stuff away around this time of year, so you never know. You might want to show up.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll have like a mimosa or two in me before, because it's only 10 a.m. and then I'll start giving stuff away and being festive. But hey, everybody, check out Hey Nonprofits Raise.
Is it going to be a cocktail friend? Is it going to be a cocktail friendly webinar?
You never know, man. I don't know. We've never done one of those before. It's like ask us anything. Get us all liquored up and ask us something. I don't usually tend to drink at 10 a.m., but I'll make an exception for the audience. But check out wherever you consume podcasts. We're really passionate about the podcast, and we've been having some really awesome guests on too. So check that out wherever you consume podcasts. Apple, Spotify. You can watch them on YouTube. Hey Nonprofits Raise More Money. So give that a listen if you don't mind, and share with someone in your friend sphere. And if anyone's not going to be with us next week, we're not going to see you for a couple weeks after that. Have a great holiday season with you and yours, and your and your team and your organization and your families and friends, and wish everyone continued success, and thanks so much for everyone for coming out. So appreciate you.
All right, y'all have a great rest of your week. We really appreciate you.
All right, see you, brother. Thank you. Bye, everybody.